Gobble, gobble, motherfucker.
They're eating her. And then they're going to eat me. Oh my God!
Estrogen levels peaking. It's like she's in heat.
When are you gonna grow up, man? Chicks love cars. If you want to get into their pants, you better have a nice, hot Ferrari.
She's my hot Ferrari. Besides, I love my Mustang, which is a plug-in hybrid. It gets 100 mpg.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah! I love my eyes!
Welcome to episode 13 of Schlock Talk, checking the mailbox every day for single-star aggregate rated Netflix movies since 2013.
Damn straight we are.
I'm Gabe.
I'm Joel.
I'm sad.
I'm Paul.
Tonight's movie is Uninvited, directed by Graydon Clark from 1988. Written and directed by Graydon Clark.
We use both those terms loosely.
Yes, we do. So,
Shitted out by Graydon Clark.
Writing in the sense, well, at least it's not a mental
Shat,
patient.
Paul.
At least it's
Shat.
not a mental patient.
Speaking of shat, I know this is completely
Shut your
non
mouth.
sequitur. I've learned about this band called Shat, and they are the greatest thing ever. They got this album called Country, and it's like a picture of a tree that's got like a pussy hole in it.
The way you pronounced it, I
they
had to
are
wonder.
basically kind of like a heavy metal ween.
Okay.
Like every song has the word cunt in it.
Okay.
And they have songs like I Am a Vegetarian.
We did a podcast about that, did we not?
Wow.
Emmanuel in America, right?
Maybe.
We saw that vagina
Let me
plant.
stick it in your double chin. I highly suggest everyone search out Shat.
Is that for obese
Okay.
women?
Past tense. Wow, that's pretty
Wow.
serious.
Yes, as Craig mentioned, written and directed, terms taken with very, very huge liberty. Written in the sense that it's not quite as bad as a mental patient drawing finger painting pictures with their own feces on the windows.
About a close second.
That's creative writing.
It's and directed in the sense that I don't know what's a funny metaphor we could use for that. Directed in the sense that a cop is directing you to get out of the car, put your hands behind your head, and walk backwards.
I think so. I think that's very good. It's fun to put things into other things.
I've always thought
That's
so.
right. They have burritos
That's
filled
my-
with tacos.
My favorite pastime.
Keys into locks, axes into faces.
You know what?
Sausages into pancakes.
I was gonna say I had bacon inside of a pancake the other day, and that was fucking awesome.
It's delicious. Yes.
Your gall-dang peanut butter in my motherfucking chocolate. These days, we often celebrate the holidays by putting a chicken inside a duck inside a turkey. Where did they come up with this idea, one might ask? 1988's Uninvited, naturally. While the producers of this film lacked the imagination of the later culinary Frankensteins who invented the turducken, and honestly, they really couldn't they have thought of a name that didn't include the word turd in it? Durkian? Chuckry? Tuckin? Anyway, it is with 100% certainty that the people who came up with this unparalleled Epicurean nightmare/delight took their cues from this marginally awful, completely unfrightening horror movie, one that George Kennedy was so angry about being in, he took all that hate and spite and turned it into one of the most surly and disturbingly cranky method performances in cinema history.
I just want to say about turduckens, the best way to prepare them is with bolts of lightning.
Nice. And Paul personally stuffs the turkey.
The turducken inventors saw the makers of Uninvited put what is apparently a rabid squirrel inside Morris the cat from the old 9 Lives commercials, build an entire friggin' movie around that idea, and call it good.
I don't know. I thought it was a lesbian fantasy where pussy was actually inside of another pussy, and somehow it made out for the lack of penis. I could be wrong.
While a turducken may make for good eating, and the animal abomination in Uninvited certainly doesn't make for a good movie, or even really a barely passable one, because this flick, by any standard, blows. They didn't even have the money to place the definite article "the" at the front of the movie's title, obviously due to budgetary constraints. Because once they fulfilled George Kennedy's contract...
We couldn't afford to buy the license rights to use the word "the."
I'm pretty sure Apple had it copyrighted somehow. And they couldn't get around patents.
Because once they fulfilled George Kennedy's contract for $50,000 and all the hoagies he could eat for his 2 days' worth of shooting, they were obviously already $20,000 in the hole. So even if you don't enjoy Uninvited, you can always go back and enjoy different things in other things. Burritos, Sharpie in Pooper, human brains...
Sharpie and Pooper.
Human brains in cyborg
Wait,
exoskeletons.
Sharpie and Pooper? That is my favorite Bee Gees cover band.
Hands and puppets. Hell, I was on the internet this one time and I saw a GIF of two dudes. Sorry, they'll have to fix that. Hell, I was on the internet this one time and I saw a GIF of a dude up to each bicep in two different guys' buttholes.
Whoa!
Let me tell you, that was really something.
Yeah, Craig, how did you do that?
I got thick arms, and they got wide assholes, baby.
Wow.
And of course, I cannot recommend anything better than the old standby, the classic pee-pees in hoo-haws. Have at it.
That seems
When you say hoo-haws, you mean like hostess treats?
Yes.
oh man, I was fucking one of those coconut balls the other day. It was almost like the real thing.
Like a real
I like to
ball?
put two of them together. Go in between.
So you basically,
You teabag yourself
titty,
with them.
so you're titty fucking snowballs.
Yes.
Paul likes his snowballs before he goes snowballing.
Oh God.
So Uninvited opens in an office building research lab, and some researchers are looking at cat x-rays, and they think the cat might have a tumor, so they decide to cut it open. And then the credits roll, and we realize we got a triple threat: writer, director, producer, Graydon Clark.
I think he was also the costume designer.
And the puppeteer.
Puppeteer.
No, that was Frank Oz, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And so
Puppetry right there.
the scientists are about to operate, but the cat gets away, and they call for radiation security.
Oh God, it's just so funny. Just get on the phone. Code red. Code red. Our worst nightmares have finally happened. Oh, the one where the adorable cat like escapes for freedom.
Pussy on the loose. Pussy on the loose.
Come on, if we don't catch this
Come
cat,
on,
Christina
guard.
Ricci will make that horrible Disney remake.
What are you talking about?
That darn cat.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'm sad that I know that reference.
So they chase the cat into a stairwell, and they have it cornered and try and shoot with a tranquilizer, but there's a...
Please mention that this is like on the fringe of Disney adorable, as the cat is clearly running underneath these gates that are set up in the stairwells, while the guys in the Monsters Inc. suits are freaking chasing it and have to stop to open up the gates, swing the gates wide open every time to get after the cat. It's so
Those
comical.
Monster Inc. suits, as you call them? Okay, as a father, I don't know if you guys have this experience. You always have to buy your kids these emergency supplies for school, and one of the things you get is that stupid Mylar blanket.
Yeah.
Space blanket?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what those guys are wearing. They're wearing like Mylar blankets with like holes cut in the face.
No, that
They
was
look
just,
like silver
no,
ghosts.
that was just the lead Monsters Inc. dude or whatever. He looked like he was wearing a big jumpsuit of Mylar, and he had like a smiley face cut out, eye holes, and a smiley mouth cut out.
I especially like the part where
He's so depressed. I can't tell. He's so happy.
he's
all
got
the time.
he's got the cat cornered, and the cat regurgitates the smaller cat outward, and suddenly it becomes Monty Python's Quest for the Holy Grail as blood spray goes everywhere.
So yeah,
awesome.
so it's a cat inside a cat that kills everyone?
It's a
Yes.
cat Duncan.
Okay.
Seriously, this guy in the shiny Mylar suit, I mean, he just looks like a retarded blind ghost from Pac-Man who would just immediately go out from the box and just go get stuck in the corner somewhere because it was hopelessly lost.
And so it's up to one of the security guards here who isn't wearing a mask. It looks exactly like David Cronenberg. I don't know if you noticed this, Paul. That's mostly for you. But so it's up to him to save the day, but he immediately fails and lets the cat into the parking structure. And the head researcher tells Paul is his name. They cannot let the cat out of the building, but, well, his name is Paul.
I can't tell you.
Fail.
I can't tell you how many pussies have slipped by me.
And so Paul says, but doctor, you saw what happened in the stairwell. And the doctor says, you shut up about that. It's pretty great. It just happened like 10 seconds before. So the doctor takes the gun away from Cronenberg's security guard, and the two of them go out and look for the cat. And so Paul wanders around
I'm sorry,
like...
but I really wish I could have just seen them like filming the cat camera scenes where the camera guy's all running around with the camera down on the ground. What are you doing?
The cat POV scenes. And so Paul wanders around like a moron.
Oh.
Like a Paul.
Or, well, like a Paul. So he's obviously dead. He just doesn't know it yet.
Oh, wow.
And we learn...
I'm going to ruminate on that all night.
And we learn that despite the obvious risks inherent in the job of making radioactive squirrel in cats, that the lab job doesn't pay well because one of the cards in the parking structure is a Yugo.
Well, one thing I want to point out here, because I think it holds a grain of truth, was the fact that this guy was going to be mauled by a pussy the reason that Paul is ardently gay ever since. Food for thought.
Well, ardent. Let's not use that word. Ardent.
It's just gay.
It's not PC.
And so right around this time, too, the doctor gets killed, right? In the parking lot.
They all die.
And so then the scene switches, and we meet some horny teens getting ready to go on vacation. And one of them is wearing a Spuds McKenzie t-shirt, or at least what looks like what was previously one. It's all shredded.
It's interesting. It's almost like when I first saw this, I'm like, well, did they just like Incredible Hulk out after doing a bunch of fucking meth a minute ago? And their rampage across the city is over, and now they're just wearing their torn clothes? Why is this not on the news? Where are the police cars?
And so these two girls, they're Bobby, and what's the crazy one's name? Suzanne.
Yeah.
No comment.
Suzanne.
Sorry, Suzanne.
Suzanne's blue.
They haven't
and
booked a
Bobby's
hotel
red.
room for their spring break, and but they get picked up by the hotel owner. And then we next meet George Kennedy, who is helped out of his car by Lurch from the Addams Family. And George has to take the hotel owner Walter to meet a desperate man. And then we find out that the desperate man's name is Daryl, who I like to call Daryl the Wiener. He really looks like a wiener. And they have a business understanding.
Can you describe him, please?
He looks like a wiener.
Who was the old guy that was like
do you-
walking around with
What do
them?
you
That
mean
guy
by
was weird
wiener?
looking.
How would you describe a wiener, Gabe?
Well, you know how we talked about Paul earlier?
Kind of phallic and with a dick head?
So,
If I had a wiener, maybe all those pussies wouldn't have gotten by me.
Like wiener like Dawn Wiener or wiener like Anthony Wiener?
well, both.
Yeah, kind of both. I picked up both of that.
And we find out that they give Daryl $1 million for some reason.
Just shut him up about the FCC, was it not?
Oh,
SEC.
SEC. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Walter and George, who's George Kennedy, his name is Mike, and another guy, Albert, are here to murder Daryl, and they drown him in the hot tub.
Yeah, he has his dorky ass motherfucker looking assistant do it with the glasses on, who looks like he could
Albert.
bench press 15 pounds
Seriously, yeah, the geezer.
on a hardcore day.
Yeah, and he's just like, he dresses like he's a fucking fogey. How intimidating is that? I mean, I
I like how you say fogey and look my way.
You know what I'm talking about, Paul.
You are the one with the white beard, Paul. I'm just saying.
That's because I want you to sit on my lap, Craig, and tell me what you want for Christmas.
Oh, let's do it.
And so it's clearly night while they're drowning Daryl in the hot tub on top of the on their yacht.
Is that explained by the fact that there is no sun in the sky?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
And the only reason I point that out is because it then switches back to the cat, which is supposed to be at the same time, and apparently it's daytime.
Well, there was like a daylight savings time, like, you know, area of the world, equator effect going on there.
It's right there in Miami.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's a guy feeding the cat, and he gets beat up and mugged by a guy with a Crocodile Dundee hat. But the cat kills this guy, causing him to drive his truck off the
He
road.
totally pulls a Toonces the driving cat moment. Where he comes and takes over the wheel, and they all fly off a cliff.
It was funny too, because I don't know who the hell did the sound, but even after the truck has stopped rolling, you still hear the sound of metal crushing and clanking and rolling and everything.
Be right back, man.
And it's just so funny. It's like the forces of evil kind of deal. They're just like, I just beat the shit out of that guy and got his car. We're such assholes.
Pussy. And so we next meet Rob Estes from USA Up All Night's Silk Stockings, Craig.
That's right. I watched that as a kid all the time. That was like my G-rated porn when I was a kid.
Exactly.
It was, you know, the most I could watch.
And then his
So that
buddy...
was kind of like National Geographic for me.
You like those ethnic women with the hula hoops for earrings, and
I like the gold
Powers
rings
and-
around the neck, man.
and the wing sized nipples.
Where she kissed nipples.
some of those guys had penises the size of Wang Wang too.
And so we meet Silk Stockings along with Beefy Screech, his buddy. And they're at the marina.
Beefy Screech.
He's got the hair. I thought it fit.
Saved by the hell.
I will roll my eyes in disdain. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So they're at the marina and they're there
Well,
to pick up.
Gabe laughed, so it must have not been funny.
Paul, you'll laugh at fucking anything.
They're at the marina to pick up classy chicks.
I laugh at your jokes.
I know. You'll laugh at anything.
This has turned into Craig and Paul's gay banter.
Well, I am on his lap asking what I want for Christmas. He's already given it to me. I can feel it when I wiggle my cheeks.
So they meet up with the girls from earlier who were there with Walter at the marina.
How I fit a tricycle up there, we'll never know.
You mean how you rode a tricycle up there?
The midget who was on there still hasn't come out.
I don't know what's going on.
They meet up with the girls in the marina.
Yeah. No, I know that. And so we can also see that Beefy Screech has managed to give himself a hickey on his own neck. Because what girl in her right mind would have done that for him? And Walter, he tells Mike that they need to have the girls on the boat to cover for them murdering Wiener Daryl in the hot tub.
Because girls on a boat do that all the time.
Yeah.
You got girls on a boat, you obviously did not
Oh,
murder
it's
some son
spring
of a
break. We understand.
bitch. Cute
Kids
girls
are always
dancing
doing
around.
stuff like that.
Your dick is hard. There's another guy around.
Were they
Kill
playing?
him.
Were they playing beer pong?
There's no way murder took place there.
Obviously, an accident.
So the girls find the cat in the garbage and decide to bring it along on the road boat trip.
That's how I got all of mine.
I thought Beefy Screech found the cat, didn't you?
I
That
don't know.
reminds me,
decided to
guys,
adopt
I
it.
want to start like a new Schlock talk trend. I'm gonna meow annoyingly, like some guy keeps hitting a fucking button on a soundtrack, while you guys try to carry out conversations and be coherent to the audience.
Meow.
Meow.
No.
Meow.
No.
Meow.
Can you stop this now?
I don't think that was a cat sound.
That was a squirrel in cat sound. And so the girl's holding this cat right after they find it in the garbage. It could clearly not want anything less to do with her.
Yeah,
You see it's like
clearly
trying
a
to
runaway.
escape. Yeah. And the kids all decide to head out on the yacht together with Walter and Mike and
Well, you know what? After
Albert.
she started breastfeeding the cat, it really took to her.
Yeah. And then, so on the boat, we meet Rachel, who's the captain of the ship. And she clearly hates Walter, the guy who owns the boat, right?
Well, I don't know. They might like each other secretly.
Okay.
I think she took acting lessons from the head guy in Barbarian Queen. They got together and decided, how can you be an emotionless fuck so excellently? These guys should have auditioned for Data on Star Trek, and they would have been, perfect.
Or like, if they ever make a movie about Sean Penn.
What?
Is Sean Penn a motionless zombie? If he is, well done.
Yeah.
Well, you said the word fuck, so I got it half right.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on again.
Paul, stop drinking.
So once on the boat, Beefy Screech starts going through the drawers and sniffing panties. You guys see this?
Hold on.
Hey, what's wrong with that?
Why does the guy who owns the boat have a drawer full of panties?
If you can own a boat, you might as well own a drawer full of panties.
Does he feel sexy in the panties?
Because the vending machine
Are
was
we missing?
broken.
Are we missing the best part where it's like the oh, you're gonna regret that choice scene where it's like they've got the cat on, they go up the gangplank and they've got the cat, and first he was like, whoa, no dicks, and so they're like, oh, you need a crew, and then he was all like, no cats.
Well, you need pussy too.
That's the wrong kind of pussy.
God.
They go together.
And so they have to leave immediately.
Things inside of things.
To Gabe's point earlier.
They have to leave immediately because the SEC is coming, which leads me to believe that Uninvited is the prequel to Arrested Development. And Beefy...
Don't associate those things together anymore. That ruins it for me.
I know, but there's a whole scene on...
Maybe this is the real origin story of how the Blue family.
Yeah. And so Beefy Screech teases the cat a little bit, so he's going to get something not off his body during the course of this movie.
Are you saying Michael Cera played the cat in this movie?
And so Mike, George Kennedy, always the dick, assigns the kids all duties on the yacht. And we learned that Mike hates punks.
Damn, it's straight he does.
I
hate those
You're
punks.
on blowjob duty.
He also hates those girls,
Yeah.
and everybody else who's ever existed, he has a hate phrase for.
Yeah, but he's one hell of a Debbie Downer. And so while this is going on, the fucking cat never stops yowling and making noise.
Yeah, just people trying to talk and have a scene. It's like, shut the fuck up!
Wow, was that a cat having diarrhea?
If you were taken away from your home in a nice cozy dumpster, you'd be pissed off too.
So Albert is put in charge of the
Is
boat
that
for
how
a
you
while.
feel right now?
It is. Thankfully, I've got Joel's cum-covered sheets hanging on the side here to make me feel at home.
Albert the geezer from who somehow was competent enough to kill Wiener.
Yes.
Man.
So Albert's put in charge of the boat, and all he's supposed to do is keep the ship on course, but he keeps pushing buttons and moving gears, which somehow causes the cat to be shocked. Did you guys follow this?
No.
No.
I don't think anybody followed that. Except maybe the writer.
Yeah. And so...
Slash director. Slash set designer.
Slash puppeteer.
And so while all this is happening, the girls do a strip show for Silk Stockings, Creepy Screech, and hipster doofus Martin, who's our hero.
How is he the hero? He's like the most ineffective guy in the whole fucking movie.
Seriously,
Hey, he's got a beard.
Uncle Jesse's sidekick from freaking Never Too Young to Die.
Yes.
That's his sort of role. Is like, oh, that guy will never fucking bang anyone in his life, but oh, he's the nerd who knows how to cook and invent text messages.
Let's say 3 + 2 = 1.
So Albert fails to maintain course during this time, which just goes to show you should never hand the steering wheel to an inebriated Clu Gulager under any circumstances.
Clu Gulager?
That's the
That's
actor's
the actor.
name. Yeah.
That guy is so wacky.
He's in a lot of movies, but yeah.
None of them good.
He was great.
He was the dad in Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Oh God. It's just funny because like it turns to dark and he's still staring and just thinking he's like, hello? Is anyone here? I've been standing here for 8 hours. I need to change my pants.
Okay, and he's drinking a bottle of wine,
Yeah.
and he's just completely hammered.
Yes.
He's a lightweight.
He is.
It's like,
He's still emotionally upset that he had to drown a man who was 3 times his size and strength.
yeah, and that's
in
why,
a
like I
spa.
said, I think Schlock Talk has moved on to the next connecting theme, where it's like people that were just severely born with half a brain and make shitty decisions.
That would be the writer of
Clearly.
every movie we have ever reviewed.
Yeah.
And all of the
That
people
relates
that...
to us making this podcast.
Yes,
It
yes,
relates
yes.
to
I was
us.
going to say.
And the people who
relates
listen.
to us watching this dribble. Nah, you paid money for this. Now watch some other stupid decisions being made.
So while this is happening, Walter is regaling the kids with his stories of high intrigue on the stock market, and the cat wanders in the room and sees everyone, and still this cat will not shut the fuck up.
It was funny because
Keep
Dweeby,
going.
yeah, because Dweeby guy was saying, "I know how to cook," and then fucking Walter's eating banana. And if you pan over to the buffet, it's more fucking fruit. He's like, Walt, he's like, the guy didn't cook anything. Shut up! Meow.
The cat's working for scale. It's got to have some speaking lines. Come
Remember,
on.
I'm in the movie, guys.
And so Albert is stumbling around. He's
Meow,
drunk.
meow, 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 meow.
Albert's stumbling around drunk, and he finds the cat and decides to fight the cat for his wine.
Fuck yeah.
No, he already got the bottle of wine. Then he decides to spit a mouthful at the cat.
Yeah.
And if you want to piss off a mutant cat, don't spit wine in its face.
Yeah, because that wine mauls the shit out of Albert, right?
The wine does?
I think the cat.
The cat. Did I say the
Maybe
wine?
it was mulled wine.
And this causes Albert's neck to bubble like the evil sorcerer in Boxer's Omen,
Puss in Puss is
which then makes him fall off the boat. Right?
I still don't quite understand how the blood stain down the side of the thing happened. Did that really? I don't know. There was like a round blood stain with like 4 trickles coming down the side of this thing,
And they figure out that he fell off.
and they figured he
overboard.
fell off the boat because of that. Though I don't know how the blood gets there.
Okay, his death was like a Star Trek original season, original series death
Star
scene.
Trek.
Star Trek.
Trek.
He said track.
Don't say track.
Star Trek.
Trek or track?
Trek.
Maybe we don't watch the same show.
God damn it. Star Trek. Katana. These are how words pronunciated.
Wow.
As you were, Paul.
Death scene.
Yes.
Exaggerated death scene
Yes.
with spurting blood.
I'm glad we went through all of that for that little explanation, Paul.
Craig the grammar Nazi has this moment once again.
So Mike determines that Albert has fallen overboard, and he talks with Walter about it, and they agree not to tell the kids about what happened, right?
What the fuck would they tell him?
He went to go live on a farm.
Sorry, what are you guys talking about? I'm busy reading Eat, Shoots, and Leaves.
And so the yacht is running too hot, and they have to shut down the engines. And at some point, the kids also figure out that Albert has fallen overboard and is likely dead. And so while all this
He's gone overboard long before.
Oh yeah, there's a cat on the boat.
And so-
Captain statue method actor is the one who finds him dead.
And so while all this is going on, the director shows the cat running in slow motion so that the audience knows that it's evil.
Hey, all of my cats run in slow motion.
Everybody knows that hot pussy is best seen in slow motion. That's just the way it is.
Wow.
And that's at least if the monster emerging from its mouth and mutilating people to death has not yet tipped you off.
You know, if you get a good glimpse at the fucking hand puppet that lives inside this cat, that's a lot like Triumph the Insult Comics face.
It is a lot like it.
Well, it depends on the phase you're in. Because somehow, in a way I don't get, it starts off as this small black cat that comes out of the other cat's mouth.
It's not a cat that comes out.
No, it's like
It's a
some
turd
kind of
monster.
honey badger
I don't know.
something or whatever. I don't know.
But it turns into a giant fucking mauling cat head that's like 3 feet wide.
Yeah.
Once it gets out. I don't understand this. Explain it to me, Gabe. Tell me why this happened.
So that we could make a podcast about it.
The magic
Thank
of
God.
cinema.
There had to be a reason. And so we learn Martin is a PhD candidate, and he uses a sextant to look at some blood, and we learn that it has 1,000 times the cells of even fresh blood.
A sextant to look at blood?
Yes. Science!
The audience doesn't know it's bullshit.
Isn't that one of those things you put on a map to find out where you
It
are?
is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's now a telescope of imaginary powers.
Microscope even.
I fight crime with it.
Yeah. It's part of the
And so
Batcave.
Bobby, the hot chick, is working out in her bathing suit, and Walter is totally trying to hit that.
Who wouldn't?
And
She
he
is
starts
hot.
he starts to get a little rapey with her. But remember, this is a PG-13 movie.
So you were sorely disappointed.
A little bit.
He wanted to see that guy's dick, and it didn't happen.
He wanted to bring.
He wanted
bring
to
it
see
back
things
Schlock
inside of
Classic.
things.
Yeah. And so Beefy Screech comes in to save the day, and he socks Walter a good one, but he gets shot in the arm by Mike.
Okay, at this point, is he wearing the Hawaiian shirt with a tie?
I don't know why.
Because that's important to me.
Oh, okay.
That's a fashion faux pas I just will not let go by.
Our values aren't the same, but they're still values.
And so
And he gets like totally winged, doesn't he? Where like the bullet just barely grazes him or something. There's a little blood stain on
yeah.
there.
And so Silk Stockings jumps in. He jumps Mike but gets beat up by Mike. And then Mike stoops down to get his gun, but he gets his ankle shredded by the cat in what I think is the funniest scene in the movie.
That's pretty great.
We're laughing on the inside.
Okay. and Mike shoots at the cat, but it gets away. The girls want to call for a medic, but Walter decides to shoot the radio because he doesn't want to get caught because he's trying to get his money out of a bank in the Cayman Islands.
Well, I know last time I got scratched the ankle by a cat, I needed a fucking medic right away.
Right,
That's
exactly.
brutal shit.
And but the girls do manage to get the gun away from Walter. And meanwhile, Mike
They
appears.
fire extinguish him in the face, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was badass. They he turns around.
Isn't that later on?
No, that's when they get the
like
gun
a
from him.
Yeah.
Okay.
He shoots the radio, then they fire extinguisher him, get the gun,
And then crazy motherfucker chick is just sitting there with the gun pointed at him. I thought she was going to take his ass out right there. She
Yeah.
has that glazed, I'm a one badass crazy motherfucker bitch look on her face. That's scary shit, man.
Let's not forget who the real enemy is.
Meanwhile, Mike appears to be dying, and Martin explains that the cat is mutating and poisonous. And this is all from looking at some blood with a sextant, I must remind you.
Yeah.
And in a fit of unbelievable insight, Bobby says the cat didn't look normal.
Well,
Mike,
didn't they mention that there was like a tag on it from like some kind of laboratory
Yes.
or
Yeah,
something
when
like
they
Yes.
found it in the
in the
the
garbage
dumpster.
bin. Yeah.
But it's just funny. It's like, yeah, like this is not the kind of cat you'd see on YouTube. So you know, it's not a cute cat.
And so Mike's leg appears to be getting an erection. And Mike's shirt pops open and his chest has taken on the appearance of soft, yeasty dough, at least more than usual anyway.
I was going to say, that's my normal look. What are you talking about?
Wait, isn't that just normal George Kennedy?
Oh, he's having his 8th heart attack. Hey, knock it off!
Is that a testicle or a goiter growing out of the side of him? It's hot.
Yeah. And so Mike dies and they dump his body off the boat.
Wow, that is the most fucking mercenary ending you can ever give a person. He dies and they throw his
Burial
body
at
off a
sea.
boat.
Well, it was.
No.
Yeah.
Shit happens.
We can't care about the movie more than the person who actually acted in it, Craig. We learned that while this is going on, that Rachel's family, Rachel, the captain of the boat, lost the yacht to Walter, much in the same way that Jennifer lost her family's restaurant to the leader of the Katana Gang in
Hey.
Samurai Cop.
More connecting themes.
We have a new streak going here. And so Walter and Silk Stockings are having a real meeting of the minds, and Walter shows him the millions he has stashed in his wall safe and bribes him not to say anything with a watch. Right?
Well, I think he was going to get $1 million. He's going to get some of the cut of the
Some of the money.
the
too.
millions in the Caymans too.
Yep. And so Martin figures out that any food that the cat comes into contact with is now contaminated. So
Science.
Suzanne decides to get PG-13 naked and make out with still Silk Stockings because it's too hot to sleep.
Yeah, you know that That sex was even less erotic than John Stamos having sex with what's her name from that other movie.
Prince's ex-girlfriend?
Yeah. Because in this one, okay, Silk Stockings, he gets his shirt half unbuttoned, and they're making out, and then they stop, and then they cuddle.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite sure what exactly happened there. But
Let me explain it to you, Craig. It happens to me all the time.
Like,
all the Jewish learning guys.
anytime, anywhere. It's like he's driving home, he's stuck in traffic, there's a motorcycle that pulls up to him, boom, happens to him.
Premature.
He's in the grocery line, and they ask him debit or credit, and he doesn't have his credit card, boom, happens to him.
Jizzed in my pants.
And so Rachel continues to be not all that good looking. And while not only not handsome, she is also not handy, as she cannot get the boat back up and running. Bobby and Beefy Screech decide they're going to bang, and Beefy tells her he lost all the feeling in the arm he got shot in.
He got winged.
Yeah.
Fucking retard.
And Bobby...
I like how he just like pulls his arm up and it just like drops to the bed.
That was some awesome acting right
Yeah.
there. How can we pull that off? Whoa, I just did it right there.
Oscar goes to Craig.
So Bobby...
I wonder if he'd given himself the stranger before she came in.
So Bobby pulls the covers off of Beefy Screech, and the cat is eating his fingers.
Oh God, how do we not notice that?
So he decides to jump off the yacht and accidentally knocks Bobby off with him.
Who apparently has like some kind of lead shoes on that we didn't realize, because they both instantly sink to their deaths.
Apparently,
Those implants weren't silicone.
Apparently, they had the endoskeletons from the Terminator movies.
Yeah, because Martin and Silk Stockings jump off to rescue him, but they're already gone, even though the boat is completely motionless.
Yes. They didn't leave them behind. They just disappeared under the water because they can't swim up.
So earlier they decided to lock Walter up in a stateroom, but Silk Stockings decides they need to let him out to start a cat assault team.
Yes.
a cat, if you will, for short.
The cat really likes that one.
I prefer to call it Pussy Patrol.
Yeah, but you need pussy puppies for that, Paul.
Oh, the puppy.
So Suzanne, the crazy chick,
She's starting to like devolve.
she's starting to freak out. She's like so annoying, and
She aged 20 years.
Yeah.
Her hair suddenly became all frizzy, and her eyes got white as saucers. It was pretty fucking amazing acting for a movie like this.
Yeah, and I really found myself wishing they'd killed her instead of Bobby. Why?
We all did.
Yeah. So, Silk Stockings and Walter go after the cat with a gun, a lantern, and a plate of tuna.
Mind you, he's dropping these like tunas in like the most inaccessible places for a cat. Like, why don't I just put it here on like, I don't know, the top of this pipe where the cat couldn't possibly stand up to eat it.
Oh, there's a deep crevice.
How about we put it on the exhaust manifold
Paul,
of the engine?
stick to the movie. Stop looking at my ass.
And so Rachel is hoping she has the engine of the boat fixed, and Walter and Suzanne are supposed to be on watch, but they're sleeping, and Rachel wakes them up, and Walter tells her, "At least you're being consistent. A dumb bitch!" Which I thought was a great line.
It's not untruth. The man does not speak untrue.
He steals millions and millions of dollars, but at least he tells the truth. Rachel drops her keys for the boat, but Suzanne finds them. And Suzanne starts eating the contaminated food, and she finds the cat, but then her neck gets all bubbly and she dies.
Okay,
too.
this scene is like Oscar worthy. She eats this breadcrumb, which is like a crust of bread, and I feel like I really felt like it was like a scene from Les Miserables.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Silk Stockings died before her. He was going down in the engine room. Presumably to
shoot the
to investigate his tuna trap.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. And then Triumph, the insult comic monster. he's like taking shots at it, and I guess he manages to like penetrate the freaking hole while he's fucking taking shots at the cat. And eventually, he's just standing right next to a steam pipe.
I thought it was a talcum powder pipe.
Yeah. Strange. A yacht
Was there
that
someone
size.
like shoveling coal into a furnace downstairs? That none of
Yeah,
us
I know
noticed?
exactly. Has, I guess, a steam turbine on it, and then it just completely melts his face away.
Yeah. And so, so Silk Stockings is dead. And then Suzanne eats the crust of bread, gets a bubbly neck, sees the cat, and dies.
Okay, but her acting in that scene was so good.
It's just a bag of lies.
No, I mean, her transition from, like, just teen slut to crazy motherfucker bitch.
Middle-aged.
Middle-aged crazy
bitch.
motherfucker.
She, like, devolved into freaking Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
Gives it to us. Gives us the precious.
And so Suzanne is dead. And so who do we have left? We got Walter and Martin and Rachel, right?
Yeah.
So we got Martin, the guy who started it all, and the other two people who no one gives a fuck about. Those are the three people that are left.
Martin is the kid.
Oh, I'm sorry. Martin's,
Walter is the guy who
Walter.
started
We got
it all.
Walter,
Right.
and we got the two people no
Wall
one gives
Street
a fuck
Walter.
Right.
You got the captain who can't act,
Right.
and you know she's kind of cute in a blonde kind of way, but she's got no talent.
Right.
And then you got the guy who uses the sextant to figure out all sorts of magical shit about science.
Yeah.
These are our people left.
And so, so while all this is happening, Silk Stockings dies, Suzanne dies. Somewhere, there's a model ship in a boat.
In someone's bathtub.
Do you guys remember
lights
Pee Wee's
turned off.
Big Adventure?
Yes.
When what's his name is in his giant bathtub with the sinking ships?
Exactly, yeah.
They really just took stock footage from that.
Yeah. Just this time with the lights off.
And so the boat is sinking because earlier Silk Stockings had shot at the cat and caused a hole in the hull of the boat. And Walter, Martin, and Rachel decide to abandon ship. And Walter decides to go back for his suitcase of money, but the cat is there, and it clearly eats his face and neck, which are secretly the most delectable parts found on most Walters.
So this I also want to know.
Not just any
How
Walter.
did he blow a hole that you could fit your head in through the side of a ship with a pistol?
I think it got bigger and bigger as the water came rushing in. I think that's...
Yeah, because that's how science works.
Well, it was used as a glory hole for so long.
Someone had a big dick. They had
And
a
it's
really
funny
big
because you're
dick.
missing like the great shitty puppeteering action going on there. As Triumph the Insult comic is coming out of the cat's mouth like Bugs Bunny out of the Looney Tunes circle. And just screaming for me to poop on.
So...
You know, it was kind of like a birth scene when you think about it.
Yes. From the
Cats
gaping maw of
being
the pussy
horrible.
comes Triumph.
What did you say, Craig? I don't know if we caught that.
It's okay. It's lost now.
Okay.
It was overshadowed by the gaping maw of the pussy.
Yes. What isn't overshadowed by the gaping maw of the pussy? That casts a hell of a shadow.
So Martin finds Walter's body and hops into the lifeboat with Rachel. And meanwhile, a model ship somewhere sinks. Why they are showing this is never explained.
But you know, it's sad, but we should have a moment of silence for that model ship.
And all those poiple. All those dead poiple.
What?
Never mind.
Meow.
Thankfully, we can replace it at the dollar store at any given time if we have to.
Me?
Well, yeah. Ship too.
So Rachel and Martin find the briefcase with the million in it, but the cat is coming after them, and this was, I thought, the second greatest scene in the whole movie.
I thought
Pretty
it was
amazing.
the greatest scene in the whole movie myself.
This thing looks like a wad of dryer lint that somebody ran water over. It looks like a soggy wad of dryer lint, and it keeps attacking Martin.
Yes, you see these little limbs are like sticking out. And they move like an inch up and down on each side, and he's got it at bay, which apparently no one else in the whole.
Once again, your reference to Monty Python, like the killer rabbit, it just like flies 12 feet
on a line.
Yes. He's got his front paws over the side of the boat, and suddenly it launches itself like a fucking cannonball at these people.
That's no ordinary cat mutant.
They managed to like kick it back into the water.
Yeah.
And he's not cut or bit or whatever, and they're so happy, and then embracing.
Oh God, it's good.
And then during the embrace, he points and he's like, "It's not over yet." And the exact same scene plays out.
It's like they needed to add like an extra 15 seconds to this movie for some reason, and then it's thrown overboard again, and then
And then they decide that
they empty out the money.
He's coming on the boat because it's the only thing that's floating.
Right.
Yeah, not because he wants to.
We
eat
must
people.
save the mutant cat by tossing it this $100 million.
They had a fucking oar. Like, why the hell did they just beat the shit out of it? Like, hold it down. I'll beat it like it's a tuna we just caught. Like, no. Let's throw the briefcase out there.
So they empty the money out of the briefcase, and then they throw it out, and the cat just kind of looks at them like longingly, like goodbye.
It's like the scene from Titanic where like DiCaprio is holding on to the piece of ice and it like drifts away.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing that's different about these two movies, though, is that this movie is much better than Titanic.
I know,
especially the
so
sinking
awesome.
ship model.
Yes,
like the love scenes were more realistic, more fulfilling.
You could have saved so much money, James.
Yes. So the next thing we know, Rachel and Martin are talking. They're like on an island, and they're talking to Bob Marley, naval officer, and they're safe.
And they're fucking giddy. They're happy. They're just like, yeah. Yo, Mark, all your friends just died on that boat. How you feeling? Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Oh, and your story about a mutant cat, well...
It doesn't check out.
Seems implausible.
Why don't you just...
Here's this duffel bag, which I've neglected to look into. Customs don't exist on our country. You take whatever's in here and go get some R&R.
He may have looked, but then stick figure Twiggy Blonde hugged him. And he was so distracted that that Mark was able to take this duffel bag and walk away.
So meanwhile, on a beach somewhere, a small, ugly boy picks up a cat near a briefcase.
A cat that does not resemble the cat from the rest of the film.
It's a whole other cat.
It's a whole other cat.
No,
but it was possessed, or it was...
Because it lives inside the cat, so I don't know.
So was there another cat on the beach for no reason?
What's that?
There was just a cat.
Yeah, it was a cat that
Why
was on the
didn't you see
beach.
the corpse of the other cat
He's
then?
a dumbass. The
That
corpse
sank
is
with
on
the ship.
that sunk.
No.
Yeah. That's
because
why
the thing that attacked them was
the thing that came
the
completely out of the cat.
The wet beaver pelt thing.
Yeah.
It came out of the Morris the cat.
It all makes sense now.
The soggy dryer lint comes out of the cat, attacks people, and then goes back into the cat.
Yeah.
Well, it had emerged from the cat to kill Walter, and then it realized the ship was sinking, so it came out of the room that Walter was in, and then it chased after them, and they threw this thing.
This is
it
like one
wasn't
of my
the cat
wild
that was on
pitches.
there.
It makes total sense.
Yes.
my whole thought of this is if this
Although
was
nobody's genitals get mutilated in Uninvited, Paul.
If this was one of those movies,
So
where
that
Paul
seems
was
like a big difference to me.
This is one of those movies where like Paul is doing that thing where he's like, guess what movies Paul made? A cat jumps out of a cat's stomach and kills other people and drags them away to their doom. Did I make this up? No, I really didn't. It's a crappy ass motherfucking movie called Uninvited.
I would have stumped you with this one.
You would have got me with this one, man.
So the black cat that the little boy picks up is now being what's like.
We don't know.
Is now like has
You're
the
just-
creature
you're
inside.
just assuming.
We assume because there's the briefcase next to the area where the cat is.
Like 500 feet up from the water, so that was one hell of a tide.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Especially
does
for
that
a
little
large
boy,
briefcase.
does he have downs?
Yeah, he's got quite a manly, ugly face. I just like how it like suddenly like zooms in.
Yeah.
Just pans in.
Dun dun.
Well, it does that like edit zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And so that's Uninvited. I really enjoyed this movie, Paul.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
This movie brought to you by dogs.
Hate cats.
And this was a Paul pick, too. I want to put that out there. This was a Paul pick.
Yeah, I can't remember how I heard of this. Oh, it was on Fandor.
Yeah.
I watched the scene where the guy's fingers are getting eaten.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we have to schlock this.
And then I saw the scene where George Kennedy's ankle gets shredded, which is also pretty awesome. Because it's more like he's like trying to get up off the ground while this is happening, but it looks more like he's just having a hard time because he's kind of fat and old, as opposed to being stalked by the cat from
Do you
getting
think
up
he
off the
asked
I
the
can
guy halfway
relate.
through to get out of his contract?
What's that?
the rest
I
of
can
the movie?
relate.
I can too.
I can't even get off the couch without aid.
So I just want to remind listeners. Anybody else have anything? Any STDs today? Anybody have any shock talk?
Herpes.
Shock talk do's? Herpes?
Yeah.
That's a don't.
Oh.
Herpes Neo.
What?
I said herpes Neo.
What does that mean?
Is that the Matrix version?
Some new one.
Is there a new herpes?
Are you
I was just trying
concocting
to
a new
trademark. I was
stronger strain
just
of
trying. I
herpes?
was just trying to
Meow.
trademark a name or something like that.
So don't forget to like us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/Schlock
Schlock talk.
www.schlocktalk.com. We have an email address too. I realized that we don't. Is it schlocktalk@gmail.com?
Just go to our website and you'll find it there.
Yeah.
Because we're too stupid to look.
And then Twitter, which I never check. Talking Schlock at Talking Schlock.
You know, the thing about Twitter is if you use it, you're a douche.
Uh-huh.
And so that's why we just let Gabe use it.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a good fit. Yeah, that's all you should do on Twitter is just meow.
You know, for a day and a half. And then 7 months later, when this podcast comes out, people will be like, oh, I get that now.
And I believe our Twitter account is followed by Morris the Cat.
Yes, it is. And pussy puppies. Anyway, thanks for listening. Good night.
Good night.